Hey, all you wacky, wonderful people. It's been a while since I've done a video. I'm trying to do a reintroduction video. This is my third take because I don't do video editing. We all know this. And I don't know. I'm just going to do what I do. I'm breaking the rules. I have a square format video right now. Square format. I can't even find my square. Breaking the golden ratio. It's deliberate and it's kind of amusing. I've noticed that it actually works really well for a lot of posting when I'm doing text posts. It's easy, except of course that the camera software, no matter which camera you use, no matter which software you use, still insists on trying to rotate things for you. So it doesn't matter which format you use, square, 3 to 4, 16 to 9, whatever orientation you try to take a picture in, the helpful, artificially intelligent software always tries to rotate things and manipulate things for you, which is just kind of stupid. It's one of those subtle distractions where technology, in an effort or with an advertisement of making your life better, adds frustrations to your system. You know, how you respond to that depends a lot on how you are built internally and how much stress you carry and how easy it is for you to release. But these things are just, they're everywhere. It's that, it's the old Catch-22, the novel Catch-22. There's all these little things that are just set up as annoyances that are part of the system. And how you deal with that is going to determine quite a lot of your health and your chronic stress level. You know, do you care enough to fix, or do you just post the pictures sideways and say fuck it? You know, excuse the language. I know that's probably something I'm going to have to work on if I keep doing videos again. So I'm going to be doing more videos. I'm going to get used to talking to my phone. I'm going to get used to talking coherently again. That's actually, you know, something of a problem when you're on this side of the fence. Things just kind of float around and the clouds are pretty and, you know, stuff, you get distracted. So that's all. This is intended to be a short, hey, I'm still alive video. I'm in southern Arizona right now. The sun is just coming through the clouds again to destroy the quality of my video. Awesome. It's actually pretty cool. I'm looking at the clouds and the mountains. It's a wonderful winter day. I'm having a blast. I hope you're having a blast. And I hope that we can both, all of us, whatever number of us there are, look forward to, you know, some really engaging video and text content moving forward. I'm going to be doing a book on nomadism, and it's going to be fairly expansive. It's going to include a whole bunch of stuff about technology, how to be a nomad in different forms. You know, I've done this with a backpack. I've done this with a yurt in the mountains. I've done this in a van. I've done this with a camper shell. I've done this with an RV. I've done this with a boat. I have a boat project to work on right now, so that's also there. But, you know, in addition to the technology, there's it's not philosophy, prophecy, prophets act, philosophers debate. That's kind of where I'm at with that. There's a prophecy, there's a prophetic vision, there's an actualization of nomadism. And you can come at it from a negative, you can come at it from a positive, you can come at it from a isolated idea of the single person in their small vehicle. Like, there's a girl on YouTube, she's fantastic, she does great stuff. She's been doing this for 6 years. She lives in a Honda Element, which is a small SUV, small boxy SUV, and she lives alone. And she doesn't deal well with long-term relationships. She'll talk about that in her videos periodically. And it's great. It's great, like spiritually, and there's so much going on an enlightenment journey when you're alone. There's the idea of solo is fantastic. She's not alone. She has friends. She goes to meetups. There's a whole Honda Element cult that she's a part of, and she meets people over and over and over again, but she likes her solitude. She likes to be alone. She likes to have that independence, and it's fantastic, but it's not always super great for everybody. So you run into nomads who are very sad because they don't have their emotional needs met, and they're feeling very isolated and alone and lonely, and you have to figure out how to do that in a modern fat American life with a van. 2 people, 3 people, a family in a van or a school bus is a lot more difficult than it used to be. And we haven't explored all of the ideas of why. Why is it that in the early 1970s you had people running around the country doing odd jobs with a kid in a Volkswagen minibus? So like a Volkswagen Westfalia, which is literally a minivan. I mean, if you look at it, you go look at one, it's a minivan. It has a little fold-out bed. It has a little pop-top camper. Like, it's set up right, but it's not any bigger than a Dodge Grand Caravan. And people used to just live in this. A family of 3, even a family of 4. And it was set up for that. They had a cot in the pop top, and there was a cot that you could spread across the driving area. It was literally designed for a family of 4 to camp in, and people would live in it. And now I see people struggling for space in a Dodge Sprinter, a van that literally has over twice the cubic feet inside of it as a Volkswagen, and you get one person, single people, who have to strap boxes and bicycles and cargo and so much stuff on the outside that you end up with something that is, instead of 26 feet long, 32 feet long, just because of all the stuff they've added on the outside. And it's taller, like 13 feet tall instead of 10 feet tall. It's crazy. So I got to explore that I'm going to be working on a book. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm going to be working on a book on nomadism. Some of it is the philosophy and the spiritual underpinnings and the needs and the psychology of being a nomad. Being a nomad with people, being a nomad in community, being a nomad alone, being able to engage in that fundamental human freedom of getting the frick out when you need to. It's a fundamental human freedom to be able to just leave. And of course, there's all of the problems with being a nomad in modern culture because there's kind of a crackdown on nomadism. And I've done this long enough that I'd like to talk about the days before COVID. Ooh. Are you allowed to say that word on YouTube yet? Or does that make this video get taken down? Anyway, the days before the 2020 events where nomadism had a different flavor, like people hadn't taken off. Something with what happened in 2020 and 2021, a lot of people got very pilled. I don't know which kind of pill, white pill, rainbow pill, black pill, gray pill. A lot of people discovered that society wasn't working very well, or that the promises of society were false promises, or that the illusions were illusory. And so people dropped out. A lot of people dropped out, and a lot of people reintegrated. But for every, 50 people who drop out, you're going to have 1 or 2, maybe 5 or 6, who never completely reintegrate into society. In the 60s and the 70s, you had that whole thing. Tune in, turn on, drop out. And some people never really fully integrated back into the illusion world, the programmed world, the factory world, the servants of industry and the state, which is literally a quote on the purpose of our education system, to produce willing servants of industry and the state. People didn't reintegrate to that. I think that with the events of 2020 and 2021, a lot more people did not reintegrate. And that has had a huge effect on how nomad culture is perceived and how you can actualize it, how you do it, because now there's kind of a lot more nomads. Van life used to not be that big a deal, and sleeping in your car was just like, it wasn't something people talked about. Now there are entire industries revolving around it. So that's a little weird. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about boats. We're going to talk about planes. We're going to talk about backpacking. We're going to talk about yurts and camping and the resurgence of the idea of a tent and an encampment so that you can live in your car, but your car is a Prius. Live out of your car, not live in your car. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, and a lot of adventures to have, and a lot of that is going to be me going back on the road and not alone. So I'm going to be doing this with at least a crew of 3 people. And that's not a crew as in I pay them or anything. It's just like family members, So that's going to be fun. That's upcoming. How is that going to integrate into this particular channel? I don't know. This is the channel I've always used to talk about just being weird and sideways and off-kilter and different. And I don't know. I might make this channel that. I might have to have 3 channels or 4 channels with subject matter. I might have to engage in some sort of marketing thing to try to help fund this, because I'm going to need help. Monetarily, I'm going to need help. I do a lot of spiritual counseling calls and stuff for people for free. I give of my time. I will help people build out their van if they're nomads. I don't do well with charging. So maybe this is my moment in economic history where I can just be like, hey, subscribe for $5 a month. It doesn't get you anything extra. I'm just going to put the videos out. I'm just going to talk. But it helps, helps keep things going. Maybe that'll be what we do. I do, of course, have Cash App. If anyone wants to look at that, I do have a Substack. So I would encourage you to at least subscribe to that. It has a couple of different sections, which I think you can subscribe to or not subscribe to, depending on how you want to do it. That's it. I'm done. That's about all. We're going to have so much fun. Bye-bye.